Keith Nakayama, Prime Properties. I have a property that's been recently listed with Alan Marshall. We have a building with 3 tenants, new lease on the middle part. There are, on the first part that you see, it's leased by Chow Vito Restaurant. It's to 2014, pays $35,37. The middle property, and you can see where it's located. That's 22nd, Alberta. Only on-street parking. Middle piece is Abrams and Duffy. They started yesterday. That was their first day, actually the 15th, next week, and goes to 3 of 1,800 bucks a month. These leases are sort of mixed bag. Some of them they pay some of the utilities, property taxes, other parts. The property behind it is also the same ownership, and it's also a user building that's for sale.
But we can count on that net operating income as being pretty accurate?
Yeah, we think so. We've got an MAI appraisal on this property. We have...
the appraiser want to buy it?
Well, that's always a great question, Bob. It is a property that's been pretty stable. This is a gentrified area. It's up and coming. Alberta has got a lot of pedestrian traffic. It's, I think it's been pretty good. This is in a bankruptcy reorganization, Chapter 11. So it's a cash deal. We think we can get financing for this. This may be in because it's in a revitalization area, it may qualify for a USDA loan, although USDA doesn't have any money yet, right now. It's currently at a...
So Keith, let's go ahead and just sum this up. We have a fully stabilized retail building.
Right.
Okay, so the cash flow is a known entity. We know what the return is. We're relatively confident that financing would be available for this on an investor. What do you think, 60, 70% loan to value?
70 is what we were told. The obvious candidate to buy this would be the restaurant on the SBA loan.
Are there any lenders in the room that would make a loan on something of this nature?
At least one, all right.
Okay.
Very
Couple,
good.
yep. So we have some interest. We have a backup package. We have the MAI appraisal. We have leases. We have operating statement of sorts. We have a bunch of other documentation.
If I had $5,000 and wanted to make the property better, what would I do?
It's actually pretty self-sustaining. I think that the roof looks like it's in pretty good shape. We haven't had an inspection done, although I think it's, you know, it's all, that paint job is actually a piece of art. It's artwork. Yeah. Well, you have to remember this is being gentrified. This area is being gentrified, so there's a lot of appeal. There's a lot of foot traffic. Apparently the restaurant, although I have not eaten there, is supposed to be pretty good. It's Italian food.
Okay.
So if you've got any interest, please give me a card.
So we're looking for a passive investor, is that correct?
Yes.
Passive investor.
Yes.
Yes, and it's a bankruptcy, so it's a cash deal, no exchange.
Right.
So, is there any help for Keith in this?
Well, you could exchange in as long as you close quickly.
Yeah.
I would include that.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Real quick.
Yep.
Okay.
Great neighborhood. Thank you. 503-659-9556.
Who's going to be making offering Keith?
Keith at CCIM.net.
Who's a passive investor that would take that?
Wants to be in that area. Okay.
That might have something to that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Super.
Just give me a card or a mini. Thanks.
Remember, that's the most I'll pay, that's all I'll take. Okay, Ian.
That's the most we'll take.
Good morning, Ian Levin with Nathan Levin Company. What I'm presenting today are the last of the current IC zoned, ready to build lots in the city of Salem.
What's IC?
Industrial commercial. not as broad as industrial general, but for the development, it's very suiting. It's in a tech industrial area of Salem. The lots on this property, the total property is highlighted on the first slide in yellow. It's 7.5 acres total, and there's about 8 different properties. They range from just under an acre to a little over, actually there's one that's 2 acres total. Can be purchased individually or continuously. We currently have a verbal offer on 2 of the lots, fronting on, let's see if my pointer works. Oh, no battery, okay.
The little red one right there.
Great. We have a verbal on these 2 lots here at just under the asking price. We are offering volume discount on multiple lots. The property was purchased as a financially distressed property, ownership paid cash for it. They're in a pretty strong position to make a deal. The ground is build ready, and there's all utilities stubbed to each property. This was handled like a residential subdivision in the way that street improvements were done. So it's a very, very nicely handled industrial development.
Okay, if we were to keep those 2 offers in place, what's missing? What would I have to buy? How much would I have to pay for the rest of it? If I didn't want to buy the whole thing, and we've got a couple lots already sold, I could buy the rest of it at some other price.
Yep.
What's the other price?
Below $750 a foot?
There you go. So, Ian, would it be safe to say that this property is really positioned for a user?
Most likely, yes.
Yeah, this is not, the investor play's kind of gone, that's what the buyer, your seller did.
Yep.
They took that level of profit, so this is a user deal. So really, if you have an industrial user for the Salem area, Ian wants to have a chat with you.
Capable of doing build to suits, build to suit to sale, etc. The ownership's really in a strong position on this. The issue here is if somebody needs a clean piece of dirt that's ready to build for cheap, they can get a couple acres for under $750 a foot.
Perfect.
So
Thank you.
So that means if you have a tenant that wants a brand new building in the Salem area on a fast timeline, this is probably your piece of dirt.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Packages are in the back. They're actually in the industrial. I didn't put them in the bare land. I missed that.
Carson, come on up.
We have the Roseland Plaza Apartments in Salem, Oregon here. It's a 44-unit apartment complex.
Tell us a little bit about the neighborhood, if you would. What kind of neighborhood is it in? Because not everybody's from Salem.
You know, it's kind of a Class C neighborhood, honestly. It's right by retail. If you go further south, there's kind of a mixed residential rental area. You go a little bit further north, again, same thing. But it's kind of a quaint little neighborhood there. You go a little bit further west and you get downtown Salem. So you
got
got
a watch store, pretty high.
yeah, it's fairly high. I think it's in the 70s, low 80s, somewhere around there.
So it's a good apartment complex.
It's a great apartment complex. Well, you got Lancaster Mall on the other side of the freeway there as well. Yeah, Rick, I'm looking at you. We might want to talk later. We have the owners have been kind of neglecting this property. Really needs landscaping. It's got a pool that needs to be addressed. Right now it's just decommissioned, and you know that doesn't do much for your property. But what they're trying to do right now is, you know, basically move out of real estate and move any of their equity from this property into other asset classes. You know, they're looking stock market. They're looking at some of their own businesses they'd like to recapitalize. They just don't like the headaches of beds. That's what it comes down to.
Tenants and toilets.
Tenants and toilets. Exactly. Got about $1 million debt on this right now, so they got quite a bit of equity in the deal. And you can get pretty good new debt on it, depending on what way you want to go. But we pre-flighted it. You can get like a 75% LTV on the thing at 6% debt. So
So,
we're looking at a healthy
Carson,
cash
attorney,
flow.
if I come in here as a rehab type person, is there upside in this project for me, do you think?
There is. Again, most of it is a repositioning play as opposed to an actual value add play. Basically, you got to fix the problems and then you got to manage it up. That's the play on this deal.
Is management impossible in Salem? You get good management, so management's out of the way. All you gotta do is pick properly, so the
Yeah.
rest of it is just fix it up, right?
That's right.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any help here?
Who has a Class C apartment buyer? There are two value adds this morning.
I see you're on rise.
Okay.
Okay.
Morning, Tom Allen, Advanced Real Estate. I've got this office building in Beaverton that I've had on the market for over a year. We started in the high fives. We're down to 449.
Are you the owner by any chance?
What's that?
Are you the owner?
No.
Okay.
My owner has owned the building for 16, 18 years. She's tired. She wants to retire. This is her retirement. She owes money on it, probably $180,000, so I don't think a contract would work. It's close to 4,200 square feet. The lot is a corner lot, about 9,000 square feet. There's plenty of parking. Flip it back to the other. It's not a bad looking building.
A one-tenant building or a one-user building?
The owner uses the top half. They rent two of the offices below. And they're getting about $1,200 a month for the two offices they do rent. The property does need some upgrades. She's a smoker. It's dated. It's a 70s building. And she's motivated to get it sold. I think you need a user. I don't know if it would work for an investor, honestly. The one negative we've been running into, it's in a good location, fairly close to the freeways. There is a adult shop next to it, and I know we've run into a problem with that. So maybe somebody represents another adult shop, and it's, you know. So. Right. You got 13 offices. You rent them out on an hourly basis. You can make a killing. So anyhow, my number's up here if there's something I can do.
Kind of redefining executive suites here.
Nice. We just want to get it sold.
Wait a minute. What questions do you have?
What questions?
What questions? Any questions?
Will the owner stay back and lease the top offices?
Maybe for a short time, but not permanently. She wants to retire.
You know what, though? I'm sure you would love to see that offer if you had somebody that was a fit for it.
She is chomping at the bit to get something down on paper.
And she could probably carry a contract. Lenders today probably will not, if they're in first position, she can carry a contract, you know, with a wrap. I really believe that can happen.
Well, it's possible. It's definitely
So if
possible.
somebody's got a little bit of money and we had a plan.
What Keith is saying is that even though there's a loan on the property, you would probably be able to wrap it with lender consent.
Then the flip side is we had a pretty strong party in this environment. Going to a credit union or a bank and getting an SBA loan is probably just a very easy thing to do on this if you had to use it for the property. So there's a lot of stuff, and finding these kind of buildings a couple of years ago were almost impossible to find the buy to own. So
How's the parking?
There's 14 or 15 places
Okay.
on the lot, plus it's a corner lot and there's plenty of street parking. Parking's not a problem.
Would this make a good real estate office or insurance?
It'd make a perfect one, especially if you're doing business with a pork shop.
There you go.